but she can have a throne under the throne. So they exalt the throne. Look over the Pope head. The throne is suspended. Look under his feet in the basement, and you'll see there's a whole image of the dragon beast with another seat, because that's where they draw their power from, right? Because she had a mitochondrial right to rule, but she didn't have a patriarchal right to rule. So they switched the genders of men and women.
Is that why they flipped everything on his head?
Yeah. That's how can we upside down turned around. Now, where do they come from is Enlil, the one they call Yahweh in the Bible, called them here as what they call hordes of heaven. Right? The hordes of heaven landed in La Palma. But Enlil landed on Mount Sinai. Right? And this is why we call them Zionists, because Mount Sinai is Zion. Right? And that's where Enki had his stronghold in the Middle East. Right? So when he was losing the war because he was a piece of shit, he called in from a mirror dimension what looks male, but is actually a female. And the species was being used in Egypt as what they call the birth maidens for artificial births. When you look in Egypt, you find that all of the birth maidens was barren. They couldn't produce the children unless they were artificially inseminated. That's because they were seahorses, right? And males look female in our species, and they females look male in our species, right? And you can always tell them the difference because the ones that want to be the man, but they got a vagina, they are what you call a butch dyke.
A what?
A butch dyke.
I ain't never heard of that. I'm sorry, but
yeah, it's an American term to describe how they steal eggs from unsuspecting women. Right? A dyke is heavy cutters, and they're talking about scissoring of the legs. Right? You scissor a woman, but a dyke will cut your ass in half. That's because once she put you between her legs, you can't get loose until she get done doing what she doing. You can't pry yourself between her legs, her grip that strong. But it's autonomic. That means that it happens from a subconscious level, and they can't control.
They can't help it.
They can't let you go if they want to.
It's hard.
Yeah. But I hope that answered you. I'm about to take another caller because I don't know how much more time I got left in here.
All right, I'm grateful. I'm thankful, Bidar.
All right.
I'll get up.
Gallardo. See if let's try Charlie horse.
Hi, Unc. How are you?
Hey, how you doing?
Good, good. You said you don't accept people without a picture. I was like, I hope he accepts me.
Yeah, what's on your mind, sweetie?
So I just wanted to know about Ascension. Like, I'm always bringing up the 13th son in your comments because he always like brought up Ascension and things like that. I'm not sure if you like ever like correlated Ascension with the three kings. But what's your perspective on that?
Look, okay, so this is how it works. The three kings is it's just something to focus on the attention of the people so we can see who the caretakers of the land is. Mm-hmm. That's the first point of focus.
Okay.
Right? And once we get enough of us on the same page, that is in and of itself the ascension.
Mm-hmm.
right? A lot of people think that once we go from third dimension to fifth dimension, we're going to be walking through walls and shit. Yeah, that's not going to happen.
Right.
Right. You're not going to tell the difference in 3 dimension and 5th dimension until after the shift. You're going to see the living conditions in this 3D matrix becomes drastically improved by the overall efforts of a collective group of people.
Okay.
Right. The energy that's coming in is going to change your mental processor and give you an upgrade. You'll get a genetic upgrade that's going to give you a mental upgrade. Right? We need these upgrades before the great mother reactivate the women in full mitochondrial mode, because those men who vibrate low will spontaneous combust. Some of them heart gonna shut off, some of them brain gonna turn off. It's not gonna be pretty, and it's not gonna be very many men left, because a lot of them. Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. So you were speaking about how we shut off the men because we love them so much, like their mothers, and they have strokes and heart attacks and stuff. I promise you, like a year before my children's father had a stroke, I spoke to the universe and said, I'm done. I'm cutting him off, because I feel like I've always protected him. And so like a year to the date that I even wrote it down, I was like, he is done. Like I'm like, he had a stroke. He straight up had a stroke. He almost died. But yeah, that's some real shit. But
Yeah.
that's all.
So the mitochondrial, when his mother, even if she ain't here, the love she had for her son, the female got a match. Right?
I'm sorry.
If the female match, they make what they call a heart connection.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's why they always say that the boy got an Oedipus complex. He always married where he find his mother. Right? But it's not where he find his mother. It's where he find a woman that love him as much as his mother. Right? And this gives them the heart connection to allow his mother to then feed her psychic messages on how to deal with her son in order to make him perform optimally in the relationship. Right? So the two of y'all is having an entire psychic conversation, right, about him, using him as the relay.
I feel that.
Right? So now y'all talking using his heart to pass telepathic messages.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So these telepathic messages normally gives the woman the insight into the son in order for her to know how to treat him, so that he know he found the love of his life as his mother would love him. Right? And this is all governed through mitochondrial. Right? Because when he laying next to her at night, she laying next to him. Right? She's being in the moment, in the energy of love, in the moment. He don't know what the fuck going on. His dumb ass just laying there. He just got him some. He happy, right? But the fact that he happy and whatever made him happy about the connection gave them a mitochondrial link. Now that the mitochondrial is linked, it has to sync, right? But the only way it can sync is the mother has to turn her connection off. Sometimes she has to pass on. Right? If they bond is so strong, sometimes she has to cross over, which is the hardest part, especially when you're talking about real close mother-son relationship. Right? So this is why they always trying to set mother-in-laws and daughter-in-laws at odds. Right?
Yeah.
The mother-in-law real job is to teach the daughter-in-law how to handle her son, to get the best performance from him as a man in a relationship, right? His job, he's not gonna never know this. That's why they call it the fool's journey. You know, only fools fall in love. Why do fools fall in love and all that shit, right? Because he's oblivious. His mitochondria is not controlled by him. It's controlled by the women in his life, right? Now, once her and the mama make the pact, yeah, you the one gonna take over when I leave, or you the one that can handle his heart from here because she might have other sons to marry off, right? So once she give her the reins, she's gonna put him through what we call trials, relationship trials. These relationship trials is gonna be a system of her reading him responding, and relaying back to her. But he not gonna never know what's happening, right? But now your mama know and your old lady know, but you don't know, right? And the communication that you have with your children becomes instrumental because now, because you love your children, be they your blood children or your stepchildren, it don't matter. Because in the sight of God, the children belong to the parent that becomes responsible for taking care of the child, regardless of their blood tie relation. Right? This is why you have a patron saint of orphans. The patron saint of orphans is say they all mine. Right? So he take all of the children in, I don't care who they is, and he perform the function of father. No matter what position he, their uncle, the lady down the street can't take care of her kids. You know what I'm saying? Wherever he find one of those children that don't have a father figure, as the patron saint of the children, he becomes an active father figure in their life, right? All this is part of the mitochondrial awakening process, because now you're starting to have a father developing a motherly instinct for the children, right? That means that his mother had to already instill in him the importance of taking care of the children to a high degree, right? She had to teach him to despise pedophilia and child molestation and child abuse, right? And as these things become embedded in him at an early age, he grow up with this as part of his overall character. Now, the mother has to find the female that's going to reinforce these same traits. This is what they talk about being unevenly yoked. Once she finds these same traits being reinforced, she pretty much then can let go of the son, because now he found a competent woman to take care of her son the way he's supposed to be taken care of. Right? Now, fathers also, this is why you have red lights, blue lights. The fathers do it too. Most fathers don't know their children as well as mothers. So when the father picked the son's old lady, he's picking it with more carnal desire than spiritual linkage. But once the son realizes that the father picked wrong, mama picked right, now pops have to use the standard that mama gave in order to pick the right one from dad. Now we're talking about royal families. Right? Now, they got to be able to get along. Right? So they're going to do the same thing mama did. Talk to each other telepathically through your heart space. When you think you done got rid of one, she done sent you out to go find her lost sister. Right? So this is the women making alliances behind the scenes in order to restore their matriarchal prominence by collectively putting a man in the position of being a male mother, basically. And having the perception or the understanding of the woman enough to know that every time she's doing something, it means something. Women don't
Okay.
bitch. Women don't bitch because it make them happy. They don't bitch because it make them happy. More likely than right, the less happy she making herself. Right, that bitchy shit is also annoying to the person that's being bitchy. Right, because they in an agitated energy state. Right, so as long as she's in that agitated energy state, she's gonna constantly be bitchy. He don't want to hear it because he can't find how to fix it because she don't know how to tell him the problem in terms of man can fix. Because they don't speak the same language, though we speak the same language. Right? Women speak from the heart, men speak from the mind. And the only way for a man to really understand women is to learn the language of the heart and forego the language of the mind when communicating to the woman. Right? And then over time, you're going to find out that the mind allows you to sync the heart and mind connection so that now everything that you know knowledge-wise, you can give it to your old lady. She can pass all the tests you can pass without reading none of the books you done read. But when it comes to this love shit, she the only one that can motivate your heart to the degree to make it comparable or comprehensive to another person that you explaining it to. So she's using the way you think in your heart space. She's showing you how to express what she feels in the manner that you think. And when you put the two together, it'll create a language that both men and women understand. Right? And this is the language of what you call the alphas, the alpha male, alpha female. When the alpha female don't have an alpha male, she acts like an unruly bitch. She has to, because she's playing a dual role. She's being the man and the woman at the same time because the man she got is being too passive. Right? He don't know her love language. He don't listen to what she say. He don't listen to her dreams and her ambitions. He only cares if she listens to his. But my mama didn't raise me that way. She said it's a two-way street, baby. You can't get out more than you put in. So don't put in more than you can take out.
Right.
Right? In other words, she say, the Lord not going to put more on you than you can bear. So make sure you're strong enough to bear a lot. Right? Because he who carries the greatest burdens receives the greatest reward.
Indeed.
Right? So I never wanted the kind of relationship that I've seen in my lifetime. Women and men bitching and bickering all day.
Right.
Domestic violence. I don't even call it domestic violence. I call it a hostage crisis disguised as a loving relationship. You know. So the connection is real, but most of us don't accept that the connection is possible. Therefore, they can never receive a real connection. Because we all are looking for something that's hedonistic, but we ain't looking for nothing that's eternal, substance that lasts forever. And the only thing that we know of eternal is divine love, which is the cause of creation. And it's also the overall building blocks to sustain creation. Right? So this is why all of the mystics and all of the prophets all talked about this love shit. I used to be like, what the fuck is you niggas talking about? Oh, sap ass, pussy ass niggas. But once the love bug bit you, boy, you know you been bit.
Yeah.
Right? And the fact that it should have if you did your self-work, is it should make you be able to have compassion without restrictions, without having any big eyes or little U's, being no respecter of person, right? You treat people how you want to be treated, and anybody that don't treat you accordingly, you treat them according to how they treat you, right? So people that mistreat you, stay the fuck away from them so you don't have to mistreat them by slapping them in their face, because sometimes you have to punch a motherfucker in the face to do the right thing.
Right in the throat.
Chop them in the goddamn throat, push their snot box back, turn their spit red, fatten their lip.
Right.
They understand that.